I'm going to do the interviewing. But first, before we get there, let's just go down the row. And I mean, the wives have already said some of it, but you can still introduce yourself and anything you want to say.
We all sat in the same chairs in case it wasn't obvious.
Randy Willis, married to Delia Willis, and 48 years.
Ryan, married to the one and only Robin, and 10 years.
Gabe, married to Ashley, 10 years-ish.
Ish. And I'm Matthew, married to Sabrina for 25-ish.
All right, let's jump in, guys.
You got some good questions?
I've got some great questions. We're going to start off with this one. What are some small things your wife does that build you up more than she may realize?
I'll go. You know what? When I see her laugh, when I see that we live a pretty stressful life, so when I see her laugh and her smile, it still does something to me.
I'll say for me, maybe I'm a little bit of an oddball, but I grew up as a very big man that played football, and I kind of viewed myself as an ogre in a lot of ways. And so my wife actually had to convince me that I was attractive over time, but she was very consistent in that, and that really had a profound impact on me throughout where I am now.
I think mine was shocking one time. We spent most of our early marriage, I was messing up a lot. And so she was under a lot of stress. But then one day when something just changed, probably just in me, because she was pretty consistent the whole time. But I just saw how much she leaned on the word. She read and she prayed, and she was so strong, mentally. One day she started instilling just good words in me. Even that weren't necessarily true in the moment, they were true of me. And so she brought out the good in me. And I couldn't believe she was doing that because I didn't deserve that. So now whenever, even if I hear her say something good in conversation, I'm always just whoa, that was really cool. And then, anyways, thank you.
I love that. That made me tear up a little bit, Gabe. I love that. Okay, guys, what do you wish your wife understood about the pressure that you carry as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a business owner? What do you wish she understood about the pressure you carry?
It doesn't stop just because you come home, right? Just because you come home. I can remember as a kid growing up, my mom would say, just wait till your dad gets home, right? So dad's been working all day, and now he's got to come home and beat the heck out of the kids to make the mom happy, right? So dads don't want that, right? They want to just enjoy the kids, but it doesn't stop because you get home. It continues. How you shared earlier how women carry all these things. Yeah. Men just do a good job of faking it, right?
You guys have a mental load too.
You think?
Yeah.
Maybe just a little bit, right? Yeah. Not as much as women, right? But we definitely have all this stuff on our plate, and most men just act like it's okay and just go beat the kids and make mom happy, right?
Yeah, I think a verse, I think it explains, I didn't come across this verse until a couple years ago, and I kind of wish I didn't, but it explains the reason we inherently feel like this is 1 Timothy 5:8. Anybody who doesn't provide for their family is denied the faith. That's a heavy verse. And as the like biblical head of households to kind of keep the spiritual health in order of the house, like by taking care of yourself. Like there's a lot of stuff that men have to do, like there's a lot of internal work that men need to be doing and should be doing and don't do. And it adds even more pressure. So, yeah, I think that's, to me, that's just a biblical, like, responsibility that was placed on the man. That would be nice to, I don't know, what was the question? About to understand the pressure? It'd be nice if you guys understood that.
I think I'd like to like re-say that maybe in a different way. Women, I think, what I've heard is like women are jealous of the fact that men can go to a space where they're working and they're doing something, and then they come back and like they can leave that wherever they are. I'm actually, so she's like jealous for time alone, and she's jealous over a little bit of like free time and autonomy. But I'm gone. I am in Los Angeles a couple days and like one night at least a week. So I'm actually jealous to be where she is. And like we both kind of want what the other one has. And so to like, we don't, it's not helpful to hear, how do I want to say that? Like, I want what you're complaining about, and you want what I'm complaining about. Yeah. So, like, can we just switch it so we're both grateful for what we do have? Does that make sense? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't think men want to fail. Most men don't. I think good men don't want to fail. I don't think all men care, because I do know men that don't care if they fail. I think there's something in a godly man that doesn't want to let his family down, that feels that pressure to provide, and the standard for a husband's pretty high, to lay down your life like Christ did for his church. I don't think it takes a lot from a woman to stoke those flames. Like, I think women, you have a lot of, I think, influence more than anybody and power as wives to bring out the greatest part of your husband. And I think it's as simple as bringing words of encouragement. Honestly, that's what attracted me to Sabrina from day one. Two things. I saw her leading worship one time. I'm like, my God, who is that woman? Like, her voice was like Ariel calling me in. Ah. Like, I'm in. But as soon as she got to know me, because I didn't even know who I was when we first met. I'm trying to figure out my call, but she just spoke to the man of God in me. And I think every wife speaks to their husband. You're either calling out the prince or the pauper based on your words. If all you do is complain, nitpick, point out his flaws and his issues, and I know he's got them, but if that's all you speak to, he's going to live up to your words. But if you can begin to just find something. Men are like dogs. We don't need a lot. We just need a treat and an attaboy. That's all we need. We'll be good. Like, we'll rise to greatness. Give us a treat every once in a while. We talked about that last session. And just give us some attaboys. Like, just start. Here's the reality. Your husband, I think, will step into what you praise. You get what you celebrate. Yeah. And so start speaking and declaring the things that you see that he's good at. Before I believed I was good at anything, Sabrina was saying, man, you're good at this. This is something in you. And it stoked something in me that wanted me to begin to lead more and step into those areas. And I know it's kind of getting off topic, but I think women, you can really, with your words, and you might be thinking, I can't think of anything good that my husband does. If all he does is get up in the morning and say, you are the best getter up in the morning I've ever met in my life. Kids, look at how your dad got up. Like, try it. Like, next time your husband takes out the garbage, just say, babe, I love how you see that, how you take care of that. Next time he takes out the garbage, he'll fling it over his shoulder and like he'll strut out of the house and feel like he's the king. I mean, because why? Because you're going to get what you praise and you speak about. And so, women, I think you have a lot of control and influence in what your husband's becoming. Does that help?
So good. Yeah. I want to go back to a little bit about what Ryan was saying. because I find that fascinating, and I think it's so true when you're saying it. Like, I could feel the emotion of it. I'm like tearing up over here listening to you share, like, we want to be home and you want to, like, there's this like conflict and competition of like, we just want to be where everyone else is at. Are there things, guys, that we as wives, and this isn't on script, that we say or we do, or tones that we have that aren't helpful when you come home? And you know, I get that, like, we're all working, whether it's in the home, out of the home, we're all working. But like, for the guys who may be working away from home, or when you all are back together, are there things that we say that may be more, that we may not realize are demeaning, that are, you know, and try to keep it general. I just want to be like, I want to help us as wives be more helpful to understand what you're carrying when you come home, as you're understanding what we're carrying when you're gone, but like also that we're not like poking holes in the parachute, you know, as you're like trying to like rest and come down. I don't know if that question even makes sense.
If I can not be specific or general, but give a very specific example. So I don't know, there was one day where I got back from being in Los Angeles, and I didn't take the trash out of the kitchen, and the next morning it was like overflowing. And it was kind of we had a little bit of contention over that. And I think what it came down to was like, a lot of issues actually come down to having unspoken expectations. So we eventually got to the point where she said, "Hey Ryan, can you just be the trash guy? Like, can I just not have to think about trash?" I'm like, "Yeah, like that's easy, I can do that." So like, if there's something that you want to happen, like actually say it clearly and like establish how that's going to operate together. And then it's way easier to be like, yeah, you know, okay, this is my role. I will try to do that because I'm generally a responsible person. And if I don't, you can say, "Hey, we agreed on this. Can you help me out?" "Okay, yeah, I'll do that."
That's so good, because you know, the women, at least my wife, she never tells you what she really wants. She gives you these things like, "Hey, you know, we're having a party in 2 weeks." Okay. Or, you know, we're having a baby shower in a month. And then it'll be like, you know, the yard's kind of dirty. "Okay, so you want the yard clean?" Just, it's like what Ryan said. If women would be more specific, they would get better results.
I love that. Women, you need to write that one down. That's so good. Don't make them guess.
Now, don't write a list for me for the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
'Cause this is my
She
day
already
off.
is. She's taking.
I know. He's going to do it.
That's
Can
good.
I would just add real quick, I think wives could really get a lot more out of their husbands if they don't nag them. No husband's motivated by nagging.
Can you define what you think nagging is? Because this is a point of contention.
Just saying the word nagging has
right?
agitated
Yeah, I felt it. I'm like,
the womanhood in the
"What?"
room.
This is
I feel the
getting-
tension already. Can you feel it?
Because a wife may be like, "That's not nagging. I'm just," and then the husband's like, "That's nagging." So it's like, let's settle it. What is nagging and what is not?
It sounds like right there.
Well,
Why did you do
welcome to our therapy session.
That was good, Randy.
Honestly, I've never thought about defining nagging. That's a good question.
I think it's a great question.
I need to Google the definition of nagging. I think I'll give you my definition of nagging. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but just it's the constant critique of negativity without a tone or verbiage of kindness and encouragement.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that all right? Like, just the constant, I think nitpicking is the same as, I think there's moments for that. Not that women can't bring that feedback in. I think both spouses ought to have that room to speak and address the weak points of liabilities and shortcomings. But I think it's an attitude and a spirit behind it where it's almost, I know demeaning's a big word, and not all nagging is that level, but it's constant critique. I think a lot of husbands feel that way because it's like if all you're doing is withdrawing from an account, but you're never investing and putting in,
Yeah.
you're gonna be in the red. Like, it's not gonna be healthy in your bank account. And I think it's true with our relationships. And so, yeah, there's moments where you can say, babe, this is the third day in a row. Ryan, you didn't take out the garbage again. You're the garbage man. We agreed, you're the garbage man, and it's overflowing. Like, I'm not saying you can't address that, but if it's not counterbalanced by constant encouragement and gratitude, and Ryan, thank you for they've never had this conversation. This is purely hypothetical. But I think you can make those withdrawals and it not be depleting your account of your spouse emotionally when you've poured in a lot of words of affirmation, encouragement, gratitude, and praise. And so that was a long answer, but that's how I see it.
I would maybe say, like, nagging is kind of goes from like addressing a behavior that you don't like into attributing that to a character of the person. So it's like you didn't take the trash out for 3 days in a row. You don't care about me and you don't want this or whatever. Like, one is saying this is what you actually think about me as a result of it, and the other is like you just didn't do the thing.
Yeah.
And like
Separating
not doing
those.
the thing is like the lower, like that's like starting to build, but then when it starts to go to character, like that's when it becomes more detrimental, and I think things go.
Okay, so if I'm
South.
hearing you, this is what I'm hearing you say. You're saying nagging is when you're functioning really out of the red, you're functioning out of a negative bank account. It also has a lot to do with your motives, your tone, your posture, and the spirit in which you say it. Is that accurate? Am I
Are you seeking to understand me now?
I am. I want to make sure. I want to make sure that I am understanding what you're saying.
I know your jujitsu moves you're doing on me right now.
It's good moves, and it's a practice. This is how you practically listen back to someone to make sure that you understand and you're on the same page. So this is an action.
Yeah,
but does that
I
sound
think
correct?
so. I think nagging has more attack behind it than helpful critique.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. That's fair. Yeah. And like momming our husbands. Don't be a mom. He already has one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to some intimacy and connection. What makes you feel desired as a husband? Wives need to know. Tell the wives.
I don't spend like a ton of time thinking about.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So I think one thing, I guess okay, I got it. So if you're watching like a movie where the guy is the man, he gets like respect. The superhero always gets respect. You know what I mean? So like, I guess being a superhero, I'm making this up on the spot. I didn't think of, this is not what I think about at night. But when you get respect, you just automatically feel valued and important. And so like, you don't even, because I don't know, there's something about respect that's so like mystical and powerful that it's just, there's got to be a verse out there somewhere for that. You would probably know something like that.
Don't pass the buck to me.
Anyways, respect. I like, yeah. Any kind of like show of respect is just,
Respect.
That's
Being
it.
That is
respected
honestly
and honored.
that's according to Jimmy Evans. That's and studies and surveys. That's man's number one need. Like that, men, they're wired that way. It's not. It's women. Their number one need. God made you to be loved. And men crave to be respected. If they don't find that at home, that's why they'll go to the golf course. That's why they'll go to other places and venues looking for that. And respect does have tremendous influence in the life of a man. And we crave that. We long for that. And I do think that if men need that emotional charge, that will do it like nothing else. I will add, and I can't speak for every man, but I think that book, The 5 Love Languages, is a great tool to gauge where you're at and to begin to understand what can itch your scratch. I don't need words of affirmation. I like gifts. I like words. My love language is touch. My second love language is more touch. My third love language is touch me again. And
You know what my last love language is?
touch. She's like, don't touch me. I'm like, come on. This is so you can't love someone how just because that's what you want, but I think it's being attuned to what your love language is. Like, so when Sabrina, where were we recently? In the airport or on an airplane? When she touched my neck, I'm like, that's all I needed. She just touched my neck. I'm like, I feel so loved right now. It was weird. I just was very aware like that. So I think every person's somewhat different. Being aware of your love languages is a great tool.
Yeah, it's good. What, on the other side of it, what would wives do that would unintentionally create distance for you and be like more of a turnoff for intimacy?
I think Ashley hit it already, but the scroll, that's just it. Like, I feel like, kind of related to the other part of the context, like, I've been away and now I'm back and we actually got the kids down. Like, we have precious, like, hours and minutes together before bedtime, and, like, I want that time, and I'm jealous over whatever else she wants to give it to, if that makes sense.
That's good. It's good. It's good for us wives to hear.
I don't know if this is going to answer anything, but what I've seen is like and this is hard, dude. Like, this is why this is complicated. When there's so much going on, because whenever you guys were up here saying, like, you have so many hats, and everybody agreed, like it was, and we all know. But then when it seems like, and I bet the women feel the same way, when you allow the outside to get so far deep on the inside that it starts to affect your tone and your posture. And so, like, when we walk through the door and things seem chaotic, that's okay. Like, it's fine when things are chaotic. But if they can't be calmed down, if the house can't come to a baseline within a reasonable time, whatever that means, I think that is like what creates distance, because then it's like, okay, well, then it's my problem because I'm the problem because I was gone all day. And so there's nothing I can do to fix this other than give you some space. And giving somebody space usually seems like you don't want me here. And so I think there's that like miscommunication of just not. That's why it's so important that you do those little downloads every day or whatever you guys were talking about. You know, what was it called?
Yeah, where we.
Yeah,
the
thing,
pressure valve.
The
thingy.
pressure valve. Yeah, just knowing that, like, hey, we're Instapots. That's it. Just
So
knowing
good.
that you're an Instapot and you need to release a little pressure, and it's going to be okay. I'm home.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about conflict and communication. What is the most helpful way your wife can approach you during conflict? Let's say she has an issue to bring up or there is a conflict that's happening. How do you find, what is the most helpful way that she can come to you, or versus what's the most unhelpful way?
to be calm because I'm high strung. So when she brings the volume down, because I am going to bring the volume up, right? And when she brings the volume down, it calms the room.
It's good.
It makes it, or if she says something funny, even though I'm serious, it just does something to me. I'm like, all right, maybe it's not this bad. Maybe I'll call, if she lowers her voice, but when she raises her voice, then I tend to have to raise my voice more because I have to win, right? And, you know, this thing I learned just the other day about winning, and it was believe it or not, it was at a therapy session. Yeah. Well, yeah, uh-huh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like it.
Wow. Anyway, I won't get deep into that, but it was learning about that it's not, when we have conflict, we tend to want to win. It's me against you. Yeah. And we forget that we became one, right? When we became one, that's something we can't figure out. But if it's that one, then we need to protect that one. What you guys talked about earlier about protecting the marriage in that little survey. And if we're trying to protect the one, then our argument doesn't even matter anymore. Okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. It says a gentle answer turns away wrath somewhere. I don't know where it says, probably in Proverbs. It sounds like a Proverbs, Galatians. A gentle answer turns away wrath. So, like, there's so many answers in the Bible that we just don't even really consider being part of our marriage or conflict. And so, like, whenever I read things like that, I'm always like, okay, cool. Next time I'm in this business conversation and this guy upsets me, I'll be able to, like, have a gentle answer for him. But then I walk through the door at the house, and none of that even comes to memory. And we had, like, a different type of relationship where when we would go to therapy, he actually told us to fight more, like to learn how to fight. Because there were so many, like, I just kind of kept everything in. We didn't talk about it a ton. So when we started doing this, the thing that got really healthy about it is that it forces you to navigate these really tough situations. And if there's one person in the world that you should be able to and be willing to navigate these situations with is the one, because it's us. And we put this into practice the other day. It was really cool. At some point during the argument, you have to find, where is Jesus in this argument?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it gets better immediately, but it gets better pretty quickly after that. Like, things can be resolved pretty quick if you build it on the rock. Jesus is the rock. So it's, you know, I think that gentle answer turns away wrath a lot, because there's another one that says, like, I don't know, dude. Basically, it's don't say stuff in the moment, and that's a wise thing. That's a Bible verse somewhere. It's a paraphrase. I'll find it. That's the end of my answer, pretty much, on that.
So, maybe I'm different than some men. I'm actually kind of conflict avoidant, and I think maybe modeled in my family was this, like, rather unhealthy, if there is conflict, then somebody just immediately chooses to do what they think the other person wants, without actually hearing what that other person wants. So usually two people end up miserable. But what's really helpful with Robin is, like, she's able to draw out of me what I actually, like, she's able to approach it in such a way that she can draw out of me what I'm actually thinking and feeling. And, like, that question about can you share your opinions or concerns without paying a penalty. Like it's that kind of thing. If you can enter a conflict and be able to draw out what's actually under both sides of the people's like conflict, then you're going to find a healthy solution. And Robin's been really good about that with time with me, and I appreciate that.
Let me just give 2 cents on this one. I'll share what you do that helps me a lot. Is that fair?
Sure.
Because it's a really helpful thing that you've done. That
Be specific, babe.
I will be very specific and not vague. My tendency is to get really defensive. Fair?
100% fair.
Like, it's hard
Yes.
for me not to, oh, you want to go? Let's go.
I lawyer up just to tell on myself.
She lawyers up, volumes up, and I can easily reflect that. Now, let me just give this caveat. Husbands, you're ultimately responsible for how you respond. Like, you can't blame your wife, and if your approach was different, I would be kind and love. No, like, ultimately, you're responsible for your attitude, your behavior, regardless of what your spouse does. So just to be clear on that. So you can't blame your spouse for their approach. But if you care about your spouse, you want to come with an approach that will receive it. If I want you to catch the ball, I'm going to throw it in a way that you can catch it. And Sabrina has learned to do that with me. If we're going to have healthy conversations, we can just kind of disarm things out the gate and remove the tension. Oftentimes, she did this recently. A couple days ago, she was in the kitchen. I was sitting there eating my yogurt. And she said, Matthew, there's a couple things that I've noticed lately that you can improve on. Can I talk to you about those? And my mind is like scouring the last month of what did I do? But her tone wasn't angry. It was calm, but she just kind of said it out there. And if nothing else, I was inquisitive. Like, now I'm curious. She's like, when you're ready, I don't know if this is a good time, but when you're ready, I'd like to just share a couple things that I think will help you and that I've noticed. And it didn't take me long. I'm like begging her, tell me, I want to know now. And but it was, the way she set it up was very non-aggressive, non-threatening, non-attacking, and was able, it was in a way of like, I knew she wanted me to be a better husband and a better dad and a better leader and a better pastor. And she had some very practical feedback that if I would receive it, I could be that. And so maybe try that.
Thanks.
I found the verse real quick.
Okay.
It's not going to sound anything like how I paraphrased it.
There's no dude in it?
Yeah, there's no dude or stuff. It's Proverbs 17:27. It says, the one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. So, yeah, I like that. Just to keep an even temper, even if you're like on fire inside, just to have restraint means you restrain your words, then that means, ergo, like you like to say, you have an even temper.
That's good. Love it. Okay. I would love to hear this from all of you. This may be our last question if we don't have time. What did you get wrong early in marriage that you see clearly now? So we got 10 years, 25, and 48. What did you miss early on in marriage that you're like, oh, if I could have gone back, I would do this different?
Do you want me to name everything specifically?
There's so much.
No, just like not everything. Just like one good thing that you're like, man, that would have made a big difference if I wouldn't have done that or said that or had that mindset.
I'll start. I would have got help earlier. I would have included others earlier. I mean, I've got a long list of things I would tell young Matthew, that's stupid, stop it. But I think one of the big things that became for you and I see for so many other couples that becomes like the real catalyst for change and breakthrough is when they finally get vulnerable enough to ask for help. Yeah. And include other people, all that we're talking about today, of getting the right people in your corner. It was, at the first 10 years of our marriage, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And I think we had a lot of bumps and bruises and challenges that were self-inflicted that could have been avoided had we gotten some help earlier. It wasn't until 10 years in that we ever sat down with the marriage counselor. And just over a few sessions, there was some revolutionary change that happened for us that have impacted the following 15 years of our marriage and really set the tone and trajectory for where we are today. But we would never gotten there had we not pursued that. And so I would have early on put myself in circles and environments where people could speak into my life and help me be a better husband and us be a better couple.
I would have probably done. There was a time where I quit on not just my marriage, but I kind of quit on everything, just quit on humanity. But for years and years, I knew that something was off, and I knew the answer was to get deeper into a relationship with Jesus, and like he said, get around right people, fight to get the right people into my life. And so if I could do anything, it would be, you're going to end up having to fight for what you want to happen anyways. And so fighting for the biblical outcome, like fighting for your purpose, fighting for your wife, fighting for your marriage, all these things, like I'm using that language of fighting because it's a spiritual battle that you're in. And so I would have taken that as literal as I thought I should take it. I would have liked to never give up on that, because I ended up coming back to that original thought anyways, where it was like, hey, what's the answer? What I knew the answer to be 10 years before all of this mess. So hopefully that wasn't like confusing how I said that. Was that confusing? Because I can
great,
do that.
Gabe. It was great. Loved it.
All right, fight, just fight, dude.
Big one for me, we got married, I was 30, she was 25, and we waited like 4 years to have kids, and it was because I kind of had an unhealthy work-life balance at the time, and so that made me scared. Like all I could think was like kid was responsibility, but like kid is actually like 90% joy, and there is a bunch of responsibility that comes with it too, but kids are so much better than I thought. Like I guess I just adopted this kind of like consumer mindset type thing where like, man, this kid's just gonna like take from me and all this, but like they're so amazing, and like don't be scared of having kids earlier. And I wish I was going to be like a younger grandpa and like a younger father and have even more energy to give to them. So yeah, don't be scared of them.
I love that. You said have kids early on, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Joel, did you hear that?
Joel, Maddie?
Did he write that down?
Love that. That was great advice.
All right, good.
You know, I think I did most everything wrong. You know, starting out. I was definitely, there's a verse in James that said, be quick to listen and slow to speak. You know, and I think God gave us 2 ears for a reason, right? I didn't do near enough of that. But, you know, I've actually noticed being married 48 years is a long time, right? But I've noticed the last 2 years have been pretty darn good, right? And I failed at that test. That was a horrible test for me, all right? Because I don't do date night ever, but we're going to now, right? What's happened to us. Actually, what's happened to me and my wife by coming to grace has totally screwed up my thought process, the religious processes that I've had. Yeah. And it's made me look at my wife in a different light. Wow. Right? And the reason, and that is when I look at Pastor Matthew and I see the glimmer in his eye when he looks at Sabrina, it's absolutely cute. Right? And just because you're 70 years old, don't mean you can't do the same thing.
I love that. That's a great way to end it. All right, thank you guys for sharing. Did you have another thought?
I was saying, could we do it really quick? What we thought we got right early on, that it was like a good start to things. I'll say this. Robin and I, when we work out, we usually work out together. There's actually a study that we read a while back that like conflict resolution is greatly improved when you physically exercise together. That's one thing that we did pretty much throughout our relationship that's been really good. The other thing is like that short list. Absolutely agree with that. Robin's so good at being quick to ask for forgiveness, and that pattern, I was a lot slower, and I've gotten better at it. But that one just like super powerful.
I love that. So good. So good. Well, thank you guys for sharing, being vulnerable, and helping all of the wives understand husbands better. That was fabulous. So good.